One, and hopefully we get the red light. Hopefully it's working. Red light's on. What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another live episode. Tonight we're coming to you in 3D. If you didn't notice, we got myself, Debo, Dizzle down there, who actually needs to be on top because he'll whine if he's not up top when the sharing and stuff goes on. And then our buddy Dustin. So Dustin's always in the chat. Dustin is a good cat that supports, has been a long-time watcher. What do you know, man? Thanks for joining us.
Not a whole lot. Thanks for having me.
For sure, dude. For sure. Tonight, so I am not a huge tournament guy. As you all know, I've fished one tournament. I will say I have a 100% win ratio when I fish tournaments. I did win that tournament at, I think, 12 years old. That's the only tournament I've ever fished. So Dustin is a tournament guy. We'll pick his brain on some of the local stuff. He's only about, let's see, he's over in the Peoria, Illinois area, which for me is about what, 2 hours?
Probably about 2.5 to 3 to Peoria, probably 2.5 to here.
Okay, yeah. So we're only a couple hours away, which is not too bad. It's always fun to talk to some local folks who are hammers. Now, he's got some pictures up behind him. He shared some pictures on his Instagram. Just recently won a tournament, had big bass, has a beautiful boat, by the way, which is silver and purple. I'd be lying if I would say I was not jealous of it, because I am. I'm a big purple guy. So we'll dig into all that tonight. But first off, of course, Dizzle didn't give him the pre-warning. Dustin, give us your 30-second elevator speech of you, how you got into fishing, what's going on tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I started bass fishing actually when I was probably 3 or 4. My babysitter tells a story that when I was a kid, they would put me into the nope, not in prison tonight. They would put me in a crib in the shade, and they'd catch fish, throw them in a bucket, and I would crawl up on the bucket and go hand fishing. So they said I was starting to fish before I could walk. But
I still catch Dizzle trying to do that when we go out.
Hey, it works.
Zip it.
But nope. I was throwing a bait caster by 8, fished my first team tournament at 10, won my first tournament at 13. My dad fished some tournaments. He was a cop. My mom actually fished tournaments with another female partner throughout the Midwest, even fished a couple bass and gal tournaments. So I come from a fishing family, so I've been doing it for a long time.
That's cool as heck. Okay. Yeah, see, my dad was never a big tournament guy, just like local tournament fun stuff with some dudes that he worked with and we hung out with, but we never got like into the big tournament stuff. And it wasn't like, I mean, I've never been against it. I guess now it's 1,000 times easier, but back then it's like, I don't know how you'd even get hooked up with like a tournament unless you knew of somebody, or I don't know. Now you can just get on Facebook or whatever, and they're, Dustin and I were talking before, they're a dime a dozen. You can find local groups, you can find state groups, you can find the big stuff. So, and we won't just talk tournament. I know there's a lot of people in here that just fish to have fun, and of course Dustin just fishes to have fun, but we're going to kind of touch on a whole bunch of stuff tonight. I always think it's fun to get a different person's perspective, somebody that fishes from a boat versus kayak, bank fishing nerds like me and Dizzle, and everything in between. I think it's fun. So as far as fishing now, so you've already had a few tournaments, you had success in one. What has been your most successful spring lure? And I'm not just going to say this year, but like as a reoccurring theme, do you have a couple that are like, for anybody fishing now in kind of the Midwestish area, what have you fished that's been productive?
Oh, I throw a jig a lot. Whether it's swimming a jig, vibrating jig,
God.
Flipping a jig, skipping a jig under docks, I catch a lot of fish on jigs in the spring.
I can hear Dizzle in his head right now. Dustin, we can hang out. We can throw jigs together.
Yeah, if those jigs he throws are little weenie jigs.
Oh,
wow!
Not a finesse jig guy, huh?
No, I got me a few of them, but that's what we were throwing down to the Ozarks. But generally, I'm throwing a 3/8 half-ounce full skirt, 5/6 hook, getting the job done.
Okay, so more of a like heavier cover, flip and pitching type around wood,
boat docks, rocks, 20-pound test or go home.
Yeah, that's Dizzle too on those War Eagles. They're 3/8 ounce too, so they're a pretty hefty little jig, and they've got a I actually had to modify my. Well, I've got one here. This was not planned. This is one of Dizzle's favorites. He loves the naming convention on this. The name of this War Eagle Jig is Black, Purple, Blue Chartreuse is the name. So they really thought hard when they named it. That's a little Berkeley blue chunk. Look at how much that stands out. And there was, gosh, I should have saved the picture and put that on for tonight. But there was like an Instagram reel or somebody was showing where they had different marker cap colors. This was the ocean, but still same deal. Different marker cap colors. And he was diving down with it. And like, as it got to different depths, it was crazy how like purple, black, brown. I think there was a teal, something else. I don't remember how far he got
I
down.
saw that. Like down
Very
to like
interesting.
25, 30 feet, something.
Yeah.
And how the different colors. God, it's almost like if you have something that was dipped in like a dye, or maybe even like if you took a highlighter and put it into water, you can see like the ink coming out of the inside of the highlighter. And that's what the different colors looked, even though they were like a solid, piece of plastic or whatever it was. But the further it went down, the more muted a lot of the colors got. And it was just, that was super cool. I was going to send that to you. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah. And it's the thing that I thought was interesting, and people have said that too, like, Debo, your purple isn't a special thing. It's like, it just looks like brown once you get to a certain deal. And I know, of course, different watercolors, whether it's stained or muddy, is obviously going to affect that. But yeah, even on this, like that blue really stands out. But once you get down far enough, it almost looks like that blackish brown, just creating a silhouette. So I think a lot of it, is just a confidence thing. If you're more confident, you're going to fish it better, so.
But don't some of those color spectrum things, don't they say that red's like one of the very first colors to disappear in clean water, but one of the last colors to disappear in dirty water?
I think red is, gosh, what was the color? If it was either like red or green, I think on that color spectrum that stayed true or showed up like the longest. I don't remember. There's another one they went into it, but yeah, interesting. We could do a whole different live about that, but Joseph, we'll get into that. I'm going to start pinging some pictures. That's a toad of a largemouth you got there too, Joseph. We'll get into some questions like this. So jig, is there any others? Are you a big jig guy? Are you going to go out and catch most of your fish on a jig, swimming it, flipping it, kicking it?
That one right there is the GT Crawl by Angler Assets, and it is flat money in the spring. I don't know if you can see it right there or not.
Is it like a watermelon-y green pumpkin?
It is a black, brown, and amber.
Oh, okay.
Look at the gaff for a hook in that bad dude right there.
Yeah. So what do you throw? So let's get into, we'll start picking your brain on some gear. How about your jig setup? What, like, for if somebody's looking to get into a jig setup, what is one you've had a lot of confidence with?
I've got a Dobbins 745 Cademan I'm starting to use. I have a Falcon Mike McClellan jig rod that I use. Basically 7 foot to 7.4, medium heavy to a light heavy. And then I'm starting to use the Lose flip and pitch reel a lot.
The skip and pitch one?
Yes, sir.
The shallow spool?
Yep.
Yeah,
I really like it.
I think that's a good reel. I think the Lose, I think it's the Tournament Pro or something like that. It's their other $199 one. You could find that on sale there for a while everywhere for like $140. I feel like that's kind of a slept on reel. I don't love the handles, like the flat paddle handles that Lose does. But I feel like that's kind of another sleeper reel.
See, I've been using Lose for so long that I prefer the flat paddle handles.
Yeah, it's totally a. Go ahead.
No, I actually bought one with round handles this year. I bought the one that was on sale at Bass Pro Shops at Christmas time, and it's just real hard for me to get used to using it.
Yep. It's totally a preference thing. I mean, there's people that love them. I know Randy was the same way. You had that Mock Crush. You first started using it. You're like, these big round wing grips suck. And then now,
yeah, I couldn't. I was used to the. I still added those little. I don't even know what brand they were, but they were the little slide on grip extenders, make them a little bit wider, and they were, almost like a ringed worm kind of feel to them, but they would go over the handles on each side. And I had a reel that I had those on, and I'm like, man, I can't even use these anymore. They're just terrible.
Randall Pink Floyd, I actually do have one. This was, I scalped a little bit off of one of his regions and made this. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Call that the Dizzle Special in black and gold. No, that's actually, it's rabbit fur. This is, gosh dang it, I'm going to forget his name. I think Brian's Custom Tackle. He's out of like Wisconsin, Minnesota, somewhere up there. Dude does insane work, but this is, yeah, like rabbit fur hide stuff with living rubber. That's a little archy head jig that he did. Dude has, and then it's got like the bucktail, like actual, not bucktail, but like actual deer tail stuff in back, which is like real hard. They look sick underwater. This one I can't fish, being black and gold. He made me a Hawkeye one. So okay, so 7 foot, 7'4". I've never used a falcon rod. People have asked me that. I know Jason Christie's a big falcon rod guy. Never used one. How about reel? So you said 20-pound line earlier.
Yeah.
I'm assuming fluorocarbon.
Yes, sir. 20-pound. I fish a jig on anything from 16 to 20. Sniper.
How about your reel? Do you have a? Oh, you said the pitch and skip. Never mind.
Yep. If I'm flipping one, if I'm casting one, it's usually a Tourney Pro.
Okay. Tyler, real quick. Tyler Thompson became a YouTube member. Tyler, thank you, and everybody else out there, all my members, just like Liza in the house, that have the little symbol showing extra appreciation for me. You crazy folks that pay on a monthly basis to help support me. I appreciate the heck out of y'all. Let's see. So I had another question here saved. I didn't get it starred. Gosh darn it. Well, I don't know where it went, but okay. So spring fishing. So as far as the tournament scene, so what does the tournament scene look like that you fish around these parts?
Generally, I fish the Illinois Bass Federation. Basically, it's a division of TBF. It's a draw format, angler, co-angler. You go to the meeting the night before, you draw your partner. They fish on the co-angler side, we fish on the boater side. It's basically a very similar format to the BFL. We have a more statewide tour than the BFL does. They fish 2 lakes, 1 river, and their super tournament is in Kentucky this year. So we fish from one end of the state of Illinois to the other generally, and draw about 30 to 50 boats depending on where we're at.
Wow. Okay. I was going to ask you that. How many people? That's bigger than I thought. And then
I think we had
the other one.
Yeah, we had 33 we had 33 boats, I think, at Lake of Egypt, and that was a 5-hour drive for me.
Eesh.
Wow.
And so a lot of people.
That makes for a long day, huh?
Not if you do good. I mean, I caught a lot of fish and just finished 8. A guy from Bluegrass, Iowa, actually drew farther from me, and he kicked our butt.
So, quick question about your tournaments: are they all just like a 1-day like type of tournament, or is it multiple day tournaments? Or
the general tournament trail is 1 day. Our classic is 2-day. The state team tournament, which is like the old 8-man, 6-man formats, those are 2 days. In our TBF semifinals, 2 days.
So, I mean, I fished some like local tournaments for a while there. I was fishing quite a few. Like they would have one every Tuesday night or something like that. And then we'd go to some on the weekends and things like that. I don't know how I would ever get out of that. I guess that rut, if it was a multiple day and making it to, the second or even a third day of not just trying to go back to the exact same spot and being like, well, I called them here yesterday. They got to be here today. Got to use this, got to use that. So that's that's an interesting kind of take. I mean, I've been fishing multiple days in a row, but just trying to get that out of your head. And just because they were there yesterday doesn't mean they're there today.
Right. A lot of it depends on where you're at. I mean, on a river, generally when we have our classic and our semifinals, the fish are starting to stack up in fall spots. And so if you can manage your fish, I mean, you can go right back to them the next day a lot of times and catch them.
Yeah, definitely.
Wishing I was fishing says, hey, Dizzle, can you tell Dustin he'll recognize me, please? Is that okay? Do you know Wishing I was fishing?
That boat that he's standing in that picture, that's mine.
Oh, okay.
He just turned 12 this spring.
Oh, that's awesome. A hammer, a young local. I suck at spelling, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. I was definitely not an English major. Tim English was a major in English, though.
That's his PB. I took him and his dad fishing over the river, and he got a 498.
Dang, nice. What's your PB around these parts?
8 even.
8 even.
That's
Stud.
I caught a Long Branch Lake in Missouri pre-fishing.
Nice. Yeah,
in 1994.
Yeah, I don't know that I have had a year. That year that I caught, well, I don't remember if that was the year or not. I think that was the year I caught a 6.4, and then it was a 6.9 something. I call it a 7 because it sounds cooler, and I got to keep my street cred up, So I'm kidding. Everybody knows I catch dinks, but I don't know that I've caught. I mean, a handful of. I mean, so let's say some of that you're going to know better than me. How many 7+ do you see per year caught? I know Illinois maybe obviously is different than Iowa, but in your area, how many 7+ pounders do you see being caught through the trail through the year?
At our trail, rarely ever.
Yep.
I mean, let's see. Jim had a 5.5 this weekend. The next one just got rescheduled. There might be a 5.5 to caught. And then after that, it'll be all post-spawn. So,
right. What is the state record for Illinois?
It's somewhere between 12 and 14, but it's one of them ones we all believe it's falsified.
Basically, like all the fish that I have to deal with when Dizzle's out fishing with me. He holds
pretty much. But it came out of some city strip mine lake in Chicago, of all places, that supposedly now is like half filled in with rocks. It's not completely filled in.
Really? Hey, Debo, you know that that one lake that we ended up going to, you caught a nice one, probably like 5-ish on a real light wire jig. It was right after the derecho down south, I think. Yep. That was the tournament we fished a frosty rod, me and old Johnny did. And I finished second in that tournament with a 1 bass is all we weighed, and it was just shy of 5. And I missed big bass because that guy, the guy that weighed in a big bass, almost weighed in. I think it was almost an 8-pound largemouth.
Those are not the norm around here. That's kind of what makes it fun too. Like, no, I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't make it fun. It makes it interesting, I guess, because like those folks in Florida and Texas, where big fish are, are I'm not going to say easy, but common. Like that's they definitely have the lakes that produce them on a regular basis. So it's I'm not going to say fun to not catch big fish, but it's interesting when you get one of those of like how you're just not out doing it, every trip. And I know it's not that way in Florida and Texas too. You're not out catching them big, but it's crazy how much of a difference you can have, across the country, I guess. Cody, whoops, and let's get back to Mike. Cody with the $1.99. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate anybody who donates to the show. Anybody working hard and throwing me money. Y'all do not need to do that. Always want to make sure I say thanks. Finally figured out how to show some support. Dude, watching, commenting, and hitting the little thumbs up down there is more than enough, man. But I appreciate you, my dude. Let's see. Mike had a question for you. When tourney fishing, how much do you break down the lake and use a plan versus relying on your experience and instinct? Lots of prep or just go and let it rip?
A lot of it depends on where we're going. I mean, if it's someplace around home where I fished a lot, like over the Mississippi River, Pool 19 or whatever, I just go over there and pre-fish, and basically all I watch is the water level. I mean, what time of year it is, I can go by that on where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. I mean, you get it like right now, if you got a flood, the river's coming up so fast. If you're over there fishing, you got to find a hard bank. If you don't find hard bank right now, you're probably not going to catch much.
Yeah, it's crazy, by the way, man. There's some places, I forget what they were talking about, were near record highs. And
it's coming up.
Kids were out of school and they were helping do sandbags and stuff. So we've been crazy enough. We've been Cedar Rapids here. How long? I don't even remember when that was. Is that 2012? Damn, I'm old. But anyway, in places there were houses halfway up above street signs flooded. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, they had that picture of the island, and the headline of the Gazette was like no longer an island or once was an island or something like that. And it showed like a picture of the bridges going up to it and then just
Vets Memorial Stadium. Yeah, the bridges were all under. Oh, what I was going to say, the reason I brought that up was to say the amount of devastation. Like people don't understand. Like I helped one of my buddies who was in it, and he had water like in, let's say this is, I'm obviously in my basement. Let's say this is the, the first floor of my house. he had water up probably 3/4 of the way up the wall, and you don't realize, but you have to strip all the drywall. You've got to take everything out, carpet ripped up, everything was ripped down bare to the beams and stuff, redo wiring and a lot of it. Like, it's insane how much that stuff just devastates. So that's out to those folks. But anyway, okay, so I kind of hijacked you there. So if it's someplace, that makes sense. You're kind of going off instinct. Let's say it's a new lake. I don't know how often they throw new lakes in there, but are you big on are you a big electronics guy? Do you do a bunch of the forward facing sonar and looking at the lake and practicing? Or
I've got forward facing sonar. Matter of fact, I have an active target 1 for sale. It's got both new wiring harnesses. I had a big boo-boo out at Lake of the Ozarks, and I had to go buy active target 2 or fish without one. So I spent all winter long studying to go to that place. Google Earth, maps, watching videos, just trying to figure it out, because it's always been this mystique about it, and it's deep, clear water, and that's not my strength. So,
okay, more of a shallow.
And the bad thing is
fisherman.
Yep. And the bad thing is I've just went and done what I normally do. Things would have turned out a lot different.
So that's where you spun out because of what the lake was supposed to be. You thought you were going to have to not fish to your strengths.
Well, I went down to pre-practice, and that place is just so big. I tried to knock it out in 3 days, and it was cold, blowing 30 mile an hour, 30 degrees, and pouring down rain 2 of the 3 days I was there.
Sounds like any weekend I have free that I can fish.
Yeah, it feels like right now.
Yeah.
And then the one nice day, I started catching some fish. And then the last day I was there, the rain was coming. And I had a buddy tell me about a pocket. I went in there and caught 3 keepers and some shorts. So when I went back for normal practice, I went up to one of the clear arms in the lake, because when I was there pre-practice, 2 of the main rivers were completely mudded out. And so clean water fish don't like mud. So I avoided one of the areas on purpose. And I went to the clean area first, and we couldn't get on nothing. It was pre-spawn. Water was 48 to 52. They should have been sitting on points, and I just couldn't get nothing going. So late in the day, I found some fish on some bluffs clear in the back, as far away from the boat ramp as you can get, and I didn't like that. So the next day, I went and put in at this river, and it was chocolate milk to the point you couldn't see a spinnerbait blade a half an inch under the water. So I ran out to where I had fish at in pre-practice and went through there and caught a short and a keeper in about the first 30 feet. Looked at my forward-facing sonar, and they were all set up on the ledges all around the docks, and I'm like, I got this. So I ran up the lake and ran up the river to a place that I'd been looking at on the maps, and I thought the tournament could be won there. It had 2 short fish. Well, we stopped in another pocket that kind of fit the pattern of the other place I had fish. My active target wasn't lined up right, so I pushed down on it, and I actually pulled the insert out of the active target mount. So it was either rip the dash out of the boat or strap the active target down, go put it on the trailer, and go looking for a mount. Well, nobody had a mount. So I ended up at Bass Pro Shops spending $1,600 on active target 2 to replace a $45 part. Yeah.
That's how it goes. Well, you know the acronym for boat, right? BOAT.
Yeah, break out another 1,000.
Yeah, there it is.
But so the next day I was supposed to fish around the boat ramp. Well, I put it at the boat ramp and just went down the lake about 200 yards and instantly turned to chocolate milk. I'm like, well, this ain't going to be good. So I ran back out and started fishing my way back in. And we found a few fish, but nothing major. But I noticed the water had gotten a little dirtier in the main lake. And tournament morning, I ran down to my spot, and you couldn't see an inch in the water where it was 6-foot visibility the 2 days before. So I caught 2 fish I caught 2 keepers in there, and I ran to the cove by the boat ramp and caught a 6-pounder. And the next day I ran back to those fish again, thinking the water would clean up, and it did in the backs, but they had to move back there. And I got 3 in the cove next to the boat ramp. Well, come to find out, the pockets around the boat ramp is where the tournament was won. Throwing a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait, the exact same thing I was throwing. So if I wouldn't have been so stubborn and fished the muddy water, I'd have been doing a lot better.
Dude, it just goes to show that fish don't go by playbooks.
Nope.
And when in doubt, fish what you know, because you're more likely, in my mind, you're more likely to have success doing something that you really like and you really know, even if it's not going to be the pattern, than going out, like for me, for example, trying to drop shot in 40 foot of water that is definitely not a strength for me. Like, go fish what you know. Go fish, have fun. But I'm not fishing for money, I'm fishing to have a good time. So that's a whole different deal.
Right.
So
But sometimes you got to adjust. I mean, you got to do something new. I mean, I remember going to Hawaii in 2016, and I'm out there in my boat, and I've never been on anything that big. And all the other boaters in the tournament, they all went and helped each other. And I was a non-boater, so I was kind of on my own, and I had to learn how to video game fish on the fly. That was the first time I ever drop shot and watched it on my sonar. It was 2016, 2 days before a tournament.
And then after that, you felt so dirty after doing that. And the next day, you quit fishing for like a week because it was so horrible.
Oh, it was terrible. I had to go back out the next day and do it again.
Okay, so I did see Gramps in the house. Everybody, round of applause. Gramps shared the picture. He caught the frogfish. Did it on the trip down there with Chad, which was super cool. Gramps, awesome to see, dude. And also, you didn't report back to me after throwing the frog, but I did see in the pictures of the new Spro flapping frog that they removed the weight on the belly, and I see that they put the weight on the shank of the hook, which was one of my suggestions. So it's like they listened to me. I basically created that frog. I'm taking all credit, and I fixed it. So no, of course not. But yeah, they did fix it, which I thought was cool. And you caught the daggum frogfish, dude. Awesome to frickin' see. I can't wait to get on some frogfish, man. It made me excited. So congrats to the old Gramps. I did see Hella in here too. I don't know who else. Somebody else I think pinged us. But we got more stuff. Okay, so since we're on that, Dustin, let's go. I did star these three gentlemen. Tim English Jr. We were just talking about him earlier. He's an English major, professor from Harvard. That was a bad joke. Became a member. Thank you, brother. I appreciate my man. Adam Lowe became a member. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And Mr. Austin Hall. All three of you guys. I appreciate that a lot. All my members, all the support means a lot to me. Let's see. There were some other questions in here I did ping, but I do want to say or ask, what is, like, if there was one lure that people are like, listen, I've caught 7,000 fish on it today. This is the lure you've got to fish to catch them, but it's the lure that you hate. What is that lure or rig? Like for me, drop shot.
I mean, I almost won a state championship on a Ned Rig, and I hate to have to get it out.
Okay, so I see a bunch of people hating on the Ned Rig. So I want to ask you, why do you hate a Ned Rig? Why do you hate fishing it?
It's too light. Got to fish it too slow.
Is it because it's on a spinning rod?
Oh yeah, all my spinning rods have pink line and pink rod socks, and
so the thing for me is you can bump up to like a 1/4 ounce Ned Rig on the river. I've done it. You bounce it and fish it like a jig. I find them pretty comparable to fishing a jig a lot of the time. That's why I kind of chuckle when I hear people hating on the Ned Rig. To me, it's like a finesse jig type deal. Yeah.
Yeah and no. I mean, anytime you got that spinning rod in your hand, it's just completely awkward to me. I mean, when I'm using an egg beater, I might as well be baking cookies.
That's a total comfort thing, because I would much rather have a bait caster in my hand. I'll fish a Ned Rig all day if that's what I'm catching fish on. But I get the argument from people that are like, listen, I just hate holding it. It's not comfortable. Honestly, to me, it's a lot more comfortable to hold one of these. I'm sitting here just playing with one. Oh, somebody was asking about old reels. This is the old Corrado G. This is the one that got all the hate because it was the first Corrado that was not made in Japan. But for anybody that's not ever seen any one of the old Corrados, I still think this is one of my favorite side plates. The little, that's hard to do in the camera. I guess it's this way, like 1/8 turn and it pops off. I still think that's one of the slickest little side plate deal. That's all you do. Click it on and off. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, Ned Rig hate and pink rod socks for the old fairy wand. That's all right. That's what makes fishing fun. Is I could go out and throw a Ned Rig and beat the tar out of somebody with it, and they could say it sucks, and they could be on the other side of the lake throwing a jig or a spinnerbait, and doing just as
whoa,
well.
Whoa.
Right?
They're not, that's not going to happen. There's nothing wrong with pink rod socks either. That's what I have on my jig rod.
I wanted to make a meme for you the other day. There's this person on Instagram that has this like, I don't know what the hell it is. The poor little thing's ugly as hell, but it's like a little pug looking dog or something, but it's got like a big underbite, and they put like the quotes from Sling Blade, like that guy talking over it, and they're showing like the dog doing something. And one was like, yeah, I like them French fried taters. I wanted to get one and put like a little Dizzle hat on it and say, I definitely like throwing that jig. I thought it'd be fun.
I would have made it my avatar for everything.
Okay, so we got your hated lure. What is, let's say, like your all-time favorite? We already established you and Dizzle are on the love train for jigs, which is fine. I love it. What is your all-time favorite lure? So as somebody who's fished forever, do you have like an old school, like this was one of my favorite bass lures, you know, back in the day, like an older, now maybe you've been a jig guy through and through forever, but do you have like a cool old lure that maybe you don't see as much anymore that you used to throw? Like for me, for example,
salt crawl.
Oh, okay. The old salt craws. All right.
That or the old Hales crawl worm.
I don't know that one.
It was basically a little bit. It was a thinner version of a salt crawl. It actually had like more of a worm style body. Then it got fatter, and then the appendages were really small with a big claw on them. They were just a little slimmed down version of a salt crawl with more movement in the pinchers.
Ooh, is it like the the Gene LaRue salt crawl? I had some of the old. I think I've showed them on well, these are the new ones, but I think I've showed it on stream before. The old Berkeley ones that look like these, they had the different. I am trying to share here, so bear with me. I've never shared a screen before by the way it looks. Gene LaRue at Shields. I just clicked on it. Whoops. The old salt craw. There was some Berkeley ones that had these, that had the different different claw colors too, and they had that like longer, skinnier worm body. Those were ones I did used to throw back in the day. I don't know. I grab them, but
did they have the legs on them?
I think they did have like the little legs on the sides.
The Berkeley powder craw, I've actually got probably 150 of the blackened chartreuse and 75 of the pumpkin seed chartreuse in my garage right now.
That's exact. Those were the ones, the pumpkin seed chartreuse. Dude, those were money back in the day. I don't know if I have.
Oh, we got up.
Brandis will take over and ask a question.
I don't even have a beer.
Jeez. Let's see here. So, I guess you're okay. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. Oh, and I was still sharing. Sorry, I should have made you guys larger. Oh no, this is a salt craw. I have some of the bigger ones, but
go full or go bigger.
That's not a salt craw.
This says salt craw on the back of it. Oh, this is a Kalen salt craw. No, this is the color I was thinking of though. The brown, and then the like the chartreuse, those power bait ones. You know the ones I'm talking about, but.
Yeah, I've got them in the garage. My PB was actually caught on a 4-inch pumpkin seed and chartreuse Gene LaRue salt crawl.
The old lures that still work. And I guarantee you could take those same lures out now and still catch a snot out of them. It's funny how like we overcomplicate. I feel like so many of us are always in search of that new cool bait that like, dude, nobody has. And I will say there are some lures like that, like the Whopper Plopper, the chatterbait, when those first hit the scene, pretty different from anything that anybody was throwing, but so often we're out trying to find that new secret weapon that nobody's got, and it catches the snot out of them when you could go out and throw a 8-inch or 9-inch Berkeley power bait, power worm, and catch the hell out of them, or a Cinco.
I think a lot of the things that changed for me on the river as far as the salt crawls and stuff went was the colors that we used to throw compared to what the colors we use now, and the water clarity is totally different than it used to be.
Okay. What are some of your favorite colors that you throw? Do you have a few favorites without giving away too many secrets?
I've got a couple custom made tubes that nobody else will get. So, but this is a green
color nobody can get.
Well, right here's a green pumpkin purple flake standard. This is the elite Snack Daddy elite tube. I mean, you can see how big that tube is.
Mm-hmm. Is that like a 4-inch, 3.5 inch?
It's a 4-inch, but they're 3.5 inches of baby, and it's still big. I mean, this is triple dipped. And these guys tell me that up on the Great Lakes, this is what they throw for smallies. They go this big, and sometimes they're even bigger. They're all hand dipped, hand poured, super soft. And they get on me because I order the smaller ones all the time for the river. And they're like, no, you need to throw the big one. So I've been throwing the big one this spring. And that's, well, one of the baits that helped me win my last tournament was that bigger tube.
I talk about that all the time, man. Tubes are a forgotten thing unless you're a river guy. Like the river guys are all in the know about the tubes. And I feel like it's gone, you know, ebbed and flow for everybody else. Like I feel like they were a big thing there for a while and then they kind of fell off. And river guys, though, they've never left them.
Right.
How do you rig it? Are you fishing on like a regular tube jig head, or do you fish like a stupid tube, or
I Texas rig them. Yep.
Okay.
Depending on which one I use a Jungle Wide Gap from Owner, and I can show you later on why I use that hook, because you can actually flat out destroy a tube, and this hook will hold the tube up. Still, you can get 9, 10, 15 fish out of a tube.
It was a which one?
It's the Owner Jungle Wide Gap.
Oh, okay. Yep. Those have the longer neck on them.
Yep. But I think one day I was up to 12 fish on one tube, and the head was completely blown out of it, and I could still pull on it and not pull it down.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've always just thrown a tube on like one of the internal, you know, tube jig heads. That's how I've always thrown a tube and fished it really like a Ned Rig, essentially popping it and letting it just kind of glide and dragging around rocks and stuff.
Did you ever have braces when you were a kid?
Like on my teeth?
Yeah.
No. As you can tell, my teeth are not beautiful and straight.
Well, if you know anybody that's ever had braces, you used to have these rubber bands that you would strap that actually went from your front teeth to your back teeth to help tighten your braces up.
I remember
those little rubber bands are only about that big. Well, back before we Texas rig tubes, you could slide a tube head in your tube, put one end of that rubber band around the eye of the hook and stretch it behind the barb and then tie it on. You'd have a weedless tube.
Dude, that's exactly the way they used to do the Banjo Minnows. I've still got a couple in my box. That's how they sold the Banjo Minnow wires, hooks on them. Oh, God.
Weedless.
Yeah, and they literally sold it the exact same way with, I know I've got them somewhere. I've still got a couple of the frogs, but it was kind of a cool deal because talk about something that's come full circle, which this was one of the only cool things that I liked about the Banjo Minnow is they had a screw-in nose hook with like a little kind of like a what would I even call it? Almost like a mosquito hook type looking deal. But you screwed it into the nose. It had a little wire thing that you would clip the hook into, and then you would run the up at the front of the hook. You would put your rubber band in there and then hook it around the hook barb, make it weedless, just like you're talking about. Well, now people were talking about nose hooking, and then somebody showed the trick from Tactical Bassin that they showed of taking a screw lock keeper, like for if you're a Ned Rig fishing, pretend this is a Ned Rig bait, screw your screw lock keeper into the nose of it so the wire thing is actually inside of the nose, and then run your hook through the round part of the wire keeper so you're not ripping your bait off. Whereas if I just put that little mosquito hook in here, it's ripping out, every single time and I'm losing my bait. But that was kind of a cool little thing that Tactical Bassin showed. And I remember seeing that and thinking, gosh, Banjo Minnow did that back when I was a kid, and the stuff just come around. I think VMC, was it VMC? Somebody just came out with that, like a screw in or a push in nose hook deal. So it's funny how that stuff comes and goes and you can find ways around it. Let's see. Let's just look by brand. I'm pretty sure it was. Do you notice the things we search on here? Serrano, Pocket Rocket, Fritzside. Oh, there's Randy's that he has to talk about every time. Come on, Randy.
That was Gramps.
Yeah, it sounds like a Gramps thing. Oh, it wasn't VMC crap. Oh, wait, they got more hooks. Hold on. Bear with me, folks. I thought it was VMC, maybe not. I don't remember who it was. Chat, do you remember who that was that made that hook where you push the nose of it into the plastic or screwed into plastic and it's got the hook connected to it? Not that it really matters. That was the screw lock. Yeah, so you would take a screw lock like that. I use the Owner ones. I like the Owners the best. Screw it all the way into the bait, and then you would run your hook through that little hole. You would bury this all the way down the plastic, run your hook through that little hole, and then it's, it's into the wire. So it's grabbed into the meat. So that was a really cool trick that they showed. I've used it. Somebody shared the video with me. I was like, oh, that's a neat trick by them.
Oh, Gramps just said, yeah, it's the Guggen trench hog.
Oh my God, Gramps. He catches a frogfish. Now he just thinks he's king of the castle, king of the castle. I thought it was VMC. I don't know. Anyway, we're going on a tangent here. What other questions you got? Randall, let's see. It's your turn. You asked Dustin a question here.
Oh, God, what was it? I had a question, and then we started going on something else.
Sorry. Side quest.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, so I know you're a fan of bigger jigs or longer, not necessarily finessey jigs. Do you ever get to the point where you feel like, especially river fishing, if you're running across a bunch of smallies and stuff like that, that you have to either go with something with a shorter skirt, shorter trailer, something like that, in order to be able to actually get a hookup with them?
Generally, when I run into smallmouth on the river, I keep on throwing the same baits that I'm always throwing.
Really?
Because there's only certain times of the year that I technically go looking for smallmouth on the river.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I do go looking for them, I'll just, like a tube, I'll throw the baby elite tube, which I normally throw anyway, and it's a 3.5-inch tube. And so they eat it. I mean, down here, our smallmouth if you catch one over 3.5 pounds, it's a giant.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a giant to begin with of a smallies,
But I'm not going to say that I haven't thrown the Ned Rig at them, because that weekend almost won the state championship. I put a limit in the boat on smallmouth and then caught some big largemouth the next day or later that day. So my plan was just go get my limit of smallmouth and win the tournament, and they vacated me. And so then by the time I went to my grass fish, they were completely gone because of the sun, and I played that completely backwards.
Yeah.
But I generally don't pick up smaller baits to go after smallmouth.
I know for me anyway, at least around here, I've had issues where it was basically they're short striking it because there was too much flowiness going on with it. And so what I got into is, cutting down the skirt and then, making it more of, kind of basically turning a jig into more of like a tube, kind of presentation where you're just cutting it down, making it shorter, less of a wider profile.
Yeah, normally on the river down here, it's a smaller forage base anyway. And so when we trim a jig, we trim it right below the hook. We slide the chunk all the way up on the shaft to make it as compact as possible when you're fishing a jig on the river. But we throw a lot of 100 series, 200 series bandits, a lot of baby 1 minuses. 3/8 is a big spinnerbait on the river at certain times during the year. A lot of people throw a lot of quarters.
Thoughts on the DTs for the river?
Yeah, some people throw some DT4s, DT6s. I don't. I throw a lot of bandits.
I love DT6s for the river. DT4 and 6, yeah.
I like the bandits. I feel like they're a bit forgotten of.
Down here where I'm at, generally when the fish get out in the current, you're dealing with pool levels that a DT6 probably dives 3 foot too deep, so it just buries itself in silt.
Yeah.
How about swim baits? Are you a swim bait guy, Dustin, on the river?
I throw a 2.8 up to a 3.5 generally if I'm throwing on the river.
Dude, the 3.5, especially as a bank angler, if you're only bringing one size of swim bait with you, bring a 3.5. I mean, it's big enough. You can put it on like an underspin. You can fish it as a trailer on a little, like a darter head or a ball head. Like, to me, that's the best size. What do I know? I'm just some dummy in Iowa, but like, I think that is it. It's money. It's lit, as the kids say.
Yeah, a lot of things you got to look at when you fish the river is I've fished pools 24, then I haven't fished anything until 19, and I've fished 19 through 8. And the farther north you go, they fish a lot different than down here. You got a lot less silt. You got a lot more grass. I mean, pool 19 had pads and grass in it, but now this flood's going to wipe out pretty much all the grass that it has, and it'll take probably half the pads out with it. Pool 18 has very few pads, and then there's probably not There's really no lily pads on 17, 16. There's a couple on 15 that you might not even be able to get a boat to. Then 14 is where the pads and grass start again.
I'm bound determined to find that damn hook. Nobody, unless I missed whoever said it.
I'm just kind of looking through here and I'm not seeing anything about it. But it reminds.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, well, this is not the one that I thought of. It's Eagle Claw that put it out. Eagle Claw is the one that I see. I could have. Oh, maybe it was a Trocar. Maybe it was the Trocar was the crazy one.
Trocars scare me.
Dizzle's scared of the Trocars. They're a bit sharp.
I find they're too sharp.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people say that they rip too big of a hole in the fish's mouth.
It's not the hole in the fish's mouth, it's the plastic. So I like to Texpose a lot, especially with my soft tubes, that the sides on that are a cutting point. And so when you Texpose it, it actually cuts down the sides of your plastic and the hook will pop out real easy and you'll snag up a level.
I could see that.
Do you throw a straight flipping hook?
I throw a straight flipping hook and flat baits, and I throw a EWG style flipping hook and round baits.
So this is the one I was talking about. I swear there was a different company that came out with these, but this is kind of the same premise. So you would screw that screw lock all the way into the plastic, and then you use your hook of choice over it. And I suppose you could even take, with some of those smaller mosquito hook type, or drop shot type hooks, you could even put a bobber stop probably over it. I would think it would be enough to stretch and not break like that, so it wouldn't go up. But that's essentially what I was talking about, and that's what it looks like on. Now this one, the round part is outside of the bait. That tip that Tactical Bassin showed you run the screw lock all the way into the plastic and then hook into the plastic. So either way, but that's what I was talking about. Then the Banjo Minnow, it was a vertical line tie. So instead of being horizontal like this, the line tie went up and down. There was just a little space you could put that rubber band in there, and it had like a little notch to hold it. Then you would put the rubber band behind the barb, and it made it weedless. So
Laser Sharp. Usama said they make one similar to that. Laser Sharp hooks.
Yeah, that's it. That's the Eagle Claw. The Laser Sharp is.
I guess they're the same thing, huh?
Line of
basically
like the regular than the Laser Sharp. So okay, well there we go. That was a 10-minute search for that. So we're 45 minutes in. I do want to say, I forgot to mention at the beginning, we will be doing a giveaway. I was doing a whole bunch of cleaning back here. I still remember Punch hurt my feelings by saying this was a mess back here, and it was on my docket to clean it up and get it straightened, and I didn't. I had too much fun playing with my parents' dog today. But we will dadgum and get this cleaned up. Sorry, did I hit y'all? I'm sorry. But there will be a giveaway, so we'll pick one of y'all here in a bit.
Somebody asked if it could be a Banjo Minnow giveaway.
I don't. So, dude, the thing was, and I kick myself every day. So when I was getting rid of my older stuff, I sold probably 10 like 3,700 size boxes full of random stuff. One of them was actually full of it was full of two, I guess, orders or sets of the Banjo Minnow, and I sold them. One had a whole bunch of like old power worms.
Did you see?
I shouldn't have done it, but
did you see Retro's video he just put out? Oh, was it last week?
No, I saw the thing for it. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Yeah, I guess Banjo Minnow came out with like a whole new setup, new colors.
They re-released
a new color or something like that.
Yeah, they re-released the Banjo Minnow. Nothing's as good as the original Catching Fish, man. I tell you what, that original would just tear them up. I never caught a single fish on the damn thing, but it was an interesting concept. Let's see. I did star one here for you and save it. Dustin, do you have a tournament superstition? Are you superstitious?
I don't know if I'm really superstitious or not. My old set of call balls, the first keeper fish, I'd always put on the purple ball because my dad died of pancreatic cancer, and that's why everything I got's purple. So I always do the purple ball for him. So my new set of call balls, the ball's number 3, but it's always going to be the purple ball that gets on the fish first.
Love it. That's awesome.
That's super cool.
There was another question about this was not what I wanted. The fan favorite, talking about different swim baits and stuff. How about another river tactic? For you being such a big river nerd, what about Scrounger Heads? Do you fish a Scrounger Head much, like with a fluke or anything?
I've never thrown one.
Really? That's a big thing.
A lot of things are different down here because when you start talking about the Tennessee River, where they're throwing them scroungers over the hard spots and stuff like that, we have either mud or sand. It generally on the river down here, it goes from 0 foot to in the channel a lot of times, and so it's just one of them things I've never really gotten into.
Okay. So besides, I assume you're a spinnerbait guy, kind of power fishing, flipping and pitching, spinnerbait.
Oh yeah, that's my
Let's talk
little
about
river
those. Yeah, we
special
talked
right
about
there.
that beforehand. Perfect little segue.
This one here is, I call it DT's River Shad. This is the 1/2 ounce version, but I prefer the turtle black blade on mine.
Oh, Dizzle, look what it is! The hammered turtle blade.
Yes,
it's
sir.
the hammered one.
Who made that?
That's Angler Assets. You'll have to actually message him on Instagram to get this one.
There was a guy.
There was one of Dizzle's favorites.
There was a guy at there's a yearly swap meet in Des Moines at the state fairgrounds, and there was a company, I want to say it was Flaming Lures, that made a turtleback or like a blade like that, and that's the only person I ever knew that made any others. That was super cool.
Yeah, I prefer the 3/8 ounce version in the river, but that's the 1/2 ounce there. But yeah, there's something about that turtleback blade in the river. It's not quite a willow blade. It's not quite a Colorado. It's got a little bit different profile than the Indiana.
Oh, whoops. Hey,
which one's that one?
See how handsome you were. Dude, did you see the color that came up first? I am ordering some of these.
Whoa, which one's that one?
Table Rock Perp and Chartreuse.
That one right, that's Table Rock Plasma right here that I'm holding up.
Nice.
Yep, hold on.
That one right there helped me qualify to make the national championship.
So you're hold on a second. Let me reconfirm this. Are you saying that purple works in your lures around here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I actually was using this one in Indiana, but you would be surprised at how well they like to eat that bait right there in Clearwater.
How big? Well, let's see. Yeah, dude, that's the thing that I find about those is we'll do this layout. Should we do that layout? No. That's the thing that I find, that this color specific, and that's kind of more of a translucent, but this is, well, I can actually show you. I'm afraid to fish it because I only have one of them, but there's another cool purple and chartreuse, that, Table Rock Shad, that purple chartreuse yellow. There's a deal with those that I feel like that's one of those good, like, segue lures of, the segue is probably not even the right word. I don't know why I said that. One of those good, like, can go either way lures, like that white with a little bit of chartreuse, and that purple mimics kind of that threadfin gizzard, that kind of highlight iridescent colors on them, where it, it's got enough of an outline where it can stand out in pretty dirty water. Obviously muddy water, there'd be better choices, but clean to that kind of, stained water. I feel like it does that really well.
Did you see that bloody green shad that's on there?
Oops, I thought I was sharing. Hold on, I was just scrolling. Let's go back. So yeah, so these are cool. So this is a company that you throw a lot, that you work with. I have honestly not heard of them. So I always love getting in with folks that have, because you said they're an Illinois company, right?
They're based out of Springfield, Illinois.
This is one, if y'all have, oh dude, that is a sick color. If y'all do not own a bluegill spinnerbait post spawn and you've never tried it, try it. Give it a go. They make really good looking spinnerbaits, man. They got some cool, I like how they went the extra mile and put the bluegill perch colored Colorado blade on there. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
If the kicker blade.
That's Brock Mosley's spinnerbait right there. That's the Mississippi Special. That is the one that he sells out of all the time.
So does Brock Mosley work with these guys? Like,
yes,
that's actually his. Oh, okay.
Yep, that is the Mississippi Special.
Yeah, I would say white and chartreuse. Like, you don't get any more dirty water than that. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to pick up a few of these. That one is sick beyond sick.
I've caught more big fish on the pearl bait fish than any other spinnerbait.
That's all they show. Okay, I didn't know if they had different. Because I saw you had some that were willow.
The pearl bait fish is one more to the right, one down. That one.
That one's on sale too. Are they out?
The 3/8 ounces on sale. They must have an abundance of them, but that is the one that I throw a lot. If you dig around on my Facebook page, you will see a lot of 4.5, 6 pound bass that I've got on that.
What does it look? It looks like maybe a 4/0 hook.
Yeah, I believe it's a big hook. I mean, if you put the camera on.
Oh. Whoop. Hold on.
There is no
my first time running it. There we go.
There's no need for a trailer hook on these. I mean,
now I saw you had one that had some willow blades on it. Was that one that you modified, or does he sell different ones? Like if you hit it up or something?
This is the Table Rock Shad. It's just he calls this one Table Rock Plasma. He actually sells this one at Shields in Springfield.
Oh, that's.
But it's cool. It's the same skirt. It's just a different blade combination. He calls his double willows the Plasmas. There might be. He might have a couple of the Plasma series on Tackle Warehouse. I can't remember if he does or not.
I didn't see any now looking. So what was okay? So that's kind of cool. Let's talk about some of the companies that you work with, or other ones, maybe stuff that we haven't heard about. That's a pretty cool spinnerbait. Any other stuff that
I work with Snack Daddy Lures. I mean, predominantly I throw their tubes. The other one I throw a lot is my favorite football jig trailer, which is their Ditch Chicken.
Ditch Chicken?
Yep. It is a hand poured crawl, but it is very, very, very flimsy appendages. And it don't take much to move them at all. And then they put a little hump in the hand pour. So if you use an EWG hook, you can put it in there like that. But I mean, it takes very little effort to move these little flappy appendages. It's dynamite on a football jig.
So I feel like this is a cool thing to point out too, that I like when people, do stuff different, and there's different ways to make lures. When they short strike it, they're tearing the claws off probably pretty easy, right?
Absolutely.
It happens. Yep.
Yep.
They're probably tearing the claws off pretty easy because they're thin, they're, flimsy, but it's a trade-off. Just like we talk about with some of the other stuff, like a Yamamoto Senko or something that's heavy in salt. You're going to get a different look, a different action. It might not have the durability, but it's going to do a different thing. So that's when, sometimes those conversations they're not always face value when you start getting into that stuff. Like, oh, this lure tore up quick, it's not worth it. Well, if you're catching fish every other cast on this lure, yeah, you might burn through lures. Is it worth it? Can you find something in the middle of, I've got this bait that lasts forever, but it just doesn't catch many fish. It doesn't have a right action, or, so I think that's a good thing to point out, that, some places they may make it that way. It might not hold up, but they're trying to achieve a certain thing. So,
yeah, I mean, if anybody's interested, you go to snackdaddylures.com. It's capital D, period, capital T, the rest of it's Taylor 10. You'll get 10% off.
Oh, what is that? Hold on. Let's put it in the chat here. D,
period, capital T, and then AYLOR 10. That's a Snack Daddy Lures.
Taylor 10. Okay,
yep,
there we go.
That's at snackdaddylures.com.
Let's look them up. I don't know. Are they local to you there?
No, they're actually on the shores of Lake St. Clair, Michigan.
Oh, that's that the tube place you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Their other big unique lure that they got is called a split stick. And before the hula stick and all that ever came out, their split stick was on the market. It's one of those baits nobody's ever heard of, and they keep it quiet.
One of those secrets.
Bring one in. Oh.
Hold on, I'm bringing them up now. That's another one that I've not heard of. Snack Daddy Lures.
Lures.
Ooh, I do like the copper purple though that they got in that one.
Yeah, their tubes are legit. I mean, they're mainly for smallmouth. They made I first found them because they made the Blue Crawl Baby Elite tube, and they were making that special run for us before they put it in production.
The Ditch Chicken. I like the name.
Yes, sir.
Holy smokes! What's going on here with IRS? Find me. IRS is trying to catch me. I didn't pay my taxes this year. No, I'm kidding. It's my garage door. I gave my wife so much crap when she bought the stupid garage door that you can link to Wi-Fi and open and close on your phone. And I'm like, the hell do we need that crap for? Get off my lawn. Now I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. This thing's actually really cool. I can open my garage from anywhere. And I was wrong. One of the few times I've said I was wrong to her.
But is that the Kraken or the split stick?
The Kraken? That's interesting.
That is
Got a lot going on with it.
That thing is like throwing a tennis shoe. But when they bite it, they will break your wrist on a deep water setup. I throw it on like a big football shaky head.
Oh, look at the wacky stick. That's interesting too.
Hey, Depot. Mike Vogel said, in honor of Gramps, you should do a frog giveaway, braided line, frogs, and a zillion.
And a zillion. Yeah, I like how you sneak that in, Mike. That's a good suggestion. I'll think about that. We'll see what we can do. What was the other one called?
The split stick. It's just a downsized version of the Kraken, but that bait's probably been around. I've been with Snack Daddy since.
Huh? Yeah, I don't see
probably
it. Probably
2000. I'll go to the next page.
Where's next? Oh, I didn't notice they had a next page. There it is.
I mean, that thing, it looks like a paintbrush when you're working it through the water. The back of it just kind of flows.
I was hoping they'd have it where it would change the color when you bring it up.
You just gotta. But yeah, I mean, that bait, nobody talks about it, but it gets bit.
Oh, here we go. Ooh, I like the June bug. Yeah, that's an interesting one too. It almost reminds me of like, gosh, what was that old bait that they had that was like an oversized tube deal? Oh gosh, that's been, I don't know how long ago.
The tube worm by Jean LaRue?
No, I don't think it was a Jean LaRue. God, who made that? It was like a weird, oh gosh, I don't even remember. It was like a weird,
LaRue made like a hula grub?
No, it was like that, but it was like a bigger worm type deal.
Yeah, Jean LaRue made a 6-inch worm.
Jean LaRue.
That was a tube that was basically a 6-inch skinny tube.
Yeah, maybe it was them, but it wasn't. I don't remember it being hollow. It was solid like this.
Now the one thing with
I don't know.
The one thing with Snack Daddy is their June bug is actually like a brown. You got to get the purple. Yeah, you got to get the purple June bug to be the June bug green that you're used to.
Yeah, so this June bug looks kind of like a dark purple. You said the purple. Oh,
yeah, it's like a dark purplish brown, but purple June bug is the one that's traditional. Everybody's used to.
Gotcha. Okay. Huh. Yeah, those are neat. Let's see. There's another one on here that I wanted to look at. Oh, they got the gobies. Those are cool. Oh, this one. Mm-hmm. Was this a twin tail? Oh, it was the shadow behind it. I thought this was like some sort of twin tail.
It's just a boot tail swim bait. I've caught a 6.5 on that purple pearl ice before.
Well, hold on. Can you tell me? Did you say purple works around here? Can you confirm that? They got a lot of
boat's purple. It's got to work.
Cotton Candy, Lake St. Clair Special, the Smoke Purple, and the Great Lakes. I like those. Yeah, this is the cool thing. I like getting into these companies that are a little bit different. This one actually really intrigues me, this thing. Let's see all the colors of...
Those are pretty.
That Lake St. Clair Special. Yeah, it's like a stick bait, but it's got the weird, cutty, flappy...
Yeah, like a double-ended hula grub kind of thing.
Okay.
I have not messed with that one a lot.
For giveaway, Mike, we will not be doing the zillion. I was just reading through things over here. The Thunderhawk A10 is a smalley killer. I've got some of the smaller A10s too. I haven't talked to Mike in a minute. I need to give him a buzz and see what's up. But yeah, those little ones that he sent me, I really like those for the ponds. And it's again one of those cool lures that it's like the old people call them the flatfish. I never heard of that. We had the Lazy Ike is what they were around here that were made. What was it, Davenport? Or
I think somewhere.
Yeah, they used to be made around here. I had a ton of them as a kid, but have that whole thing where the bill's integrated into the body. Cool design. I like it. Different. Let's see. Frog-based giveaway. There's Mike's. No, Mike, we're not giving away. Okay, here's a question. Dustin, snack while fishing. Favorite snack? Bananas on boats or no? That thing I think is funny as heck. Do you have a favorite snack? What's your boat snack?
I eat a lot of cheese witches, which are prepackaged sandwich. It's called a cheese witch. It is 2 slices of Colby Jack cheese over a piece of salami that is vacuum sealed. You can buy them at Walgreens, Casey's, stuff like that.
Yeah, Dizzle's brought those before, I think.
Yeah.
You can throw them in a cooler and they don't get soggy.
Yeah, I know they have one other flavor of them that I think I've seen before. But yeah, dude, I get those things all the time. They're perfect. I mean, just throw them to the side and you don't even necessarily remember them until you do. And then you're like, oh, here we go. Delicious.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah, you don't have to deal with soggy bread.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love soggy bread. My wife absolutely despises like when you have I don't love soggy bread, I was teasing, but like when you have leftover sandwiches, and even if there's like the slightest, like I'll eat it if it's like pretty soggy, I don't really care. But yeah, even if there's the slightest, she's like, nope, it's a texture thing, I can't touch it.
Oh, I agree
with her. I'm like, you want oil and vinegar on that, honey? She's like, nope, it'll make it all soggy. Let's see. Yeah, the flying lure was a great one back in the day. How about the helicopter lure? Remember the Roland Martin helicopter lure?
I was so desperate in a tournament one time, I found one hanging in a tree and tied it on and used it.
Any luck?
Did it work?
No.
Catch anything?
Oh,
no. Let's see what else. Hashtag purple works. Hey, that might be, I like that. That might be our hashtag at the end. Liza, I think we just became best friends. I throw a gooseberry colored swim worm here at Slays. There was somebody that shared with me. They have the Zoom speed craws in their local store in the gooseberry and something else in gooseberry. It's a weird freaking local thing because you look on Tackle Warehouse and stuff, they don't have half of them in. Oh, it was, I think it was the baby brush hog in gooseberry. I'm like, what the hell? Why did they not make those? Like, it's the best color ever made. I don't understand why they don't make it I don't know. Let's see. Adam says, how do I have so many baits at my desk? I really don't. I've got a frog. These are the ones that I've just never moved. A spinnerbait, got a couple plastics, a finesse jig, a regular jig, Randy's jerk bait that I can't catch anything on, little lipless, a couple other jigs. Oh, talk about one of the best looking jigs in the Midwest. About that. Ooh, I made it. That's why I'm saying that. It's supposed to be funny. Shut up, Randy. Let's see. Talk about, passing a shiner, people talking about purple, the different things that it can replicate. Dustin, if you could only have one if you could only have one spinnerbait or chatterbait, what are you throwing?
Can I pick lake or river?
Nope.
Yes.
You only get one.
On the river.
Oh, river, it's going to be a spinnerbait all day.
So would that change? Would it change on a lake?
Yeah. Because you can't put a chatterbait where you can put a spinnerbait. And on the river, you're going to fish a lot more wood, a lot thicker grass, a lot. So, I mean, I definitely throw a spinnerbait a lot more on a river than I do a lake. But
are you a stinger hook on your spinnerbait, or are you a trailer on your spinnerbait?
Matthew had a good question here. Yeah. Do you have a favorite trailer? Are you a trailer hook guy, trailer plastic guy, or none of the above?
So when I was younger, I pretty much only threw the little twin tail that came with a Hank Parker Classic spinnerbait.
Yes, the man's the round thing with the
And I still put them on occasion, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm throwing a spinnerbait and the water's remotely clean, there's no trailer on it. Especially, and I mean, I don't throw a trailer hook a lot, just for the simple fact that Angler Asset spinnerbaits have such a big hook in them already. You don't need a trailer hook.
That was another Cisco. That was another one I had. Do you use trailer hooks on those? He was asking somebody else, but yeah. And I notice like it's kind of weird because with like, so for example, if you throw a buzzbait, are you always running a trailer hook on it or no? I feel like people are split half and half.
Generally, if they start short striking it, I'll put one on, but I'm starting to experiment with that new Croco Gator frog they got out. They've got a frog out that has a hole in it that's designed to slide the trailer hook through the buzz toad. So you can fish a trailer hook with a buzz toad.
Is this on Tackle Warehouse?
Is that the
I
one that
don't
I
know.
got you, Debo?
Rocco
There was
gator?
like last year, the year before. I think I got you a slidey full hook
What?
through. Thought I did.
Is
I
this
don't
like
know.
is this like an Inu rigged frog? Remember the Inu rig that was cool for a minute there? Everybody had thoughts on it. You didn't hear about it anymore? No? Bueller? Somebody help me out here. Let's see. Oh, I'm not even sharing. Good Lord. Remember when
Yep.
I went live for the first time? It always seems like the first time. There we go. Okay, so what is it? Crocogator?
Yep.
Is that the brand? Crocogator is the brand, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Croc.
I mean, I've been throwing a lot of like skinny dippers and little dippers and stuff like that on the back of a buzzbait for a few years, and they get dead.
Yep. So this
Yeah, if you look at that frog, it's got a hole in it, and you slide your trailer hook through that hole, stick it out between the legs, and then when you thread your buzzbait on, you bring the hook out through the eye of the trailer hook.
So this is where your regular hook would go through, and you slide it like into the plastic. It's got a hole in there.
You take your trailer hook and then slide it through the hole in the frog. So you put it point first, pull it out, and then you leave the eye of the hook in that hole. Then you thread your buzzbait in through it, and then your hook comes up through the eye of the hook, and so the frog holds the trailer hook in place.
Huh. So you run it through that.
I've been messing around with that here a little bit here lately. Yeah.
So your trailer hook sits in that hole, the hole of it, after you run it through this piece.
Yep. And then your hook comes through there.
And then your hook sits in between the legs there.
Yeah. So I've been messing around with that a little bit. I just started, so I have really no feedback to give on it. But I thought that's one of the neatest ideas that's come around in a while, and I have no affiliation with it.
Debo, it looks like that frog needs to hook up with the culprit frog and hit some leg days.
Yeah, this poor bastard has not done squats in ever.
Yeah.
He definitely.
I think part of the reason for those thin legs on that, though, is that trailer hook can sit in there and not get to interfere with them.
Definitely. Yeah. And when you're buzzing on top like that, or buzzing it behind the buzzbait, it's not like you're buzzing it on top like a regular soft plastic. It's already got all the buzzbait stuff going on, so you don't. It's kind of like the horny toad. Same premise as that, as throw it on the back and it's not messing with the buzzbait and stuff. Yeah, I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, I couldn't get them to eat a buzzbait last weekend, but they would come up and eat a frog. I already caught frogfish. So in Illinois,
this is what the Berkeley one looked like, except this was solid. Remember, it had those like little legs on the sides of it. Do they still make
that
it?
Is.
Hold on, what is this? Oh, that's the keeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of interesting. So it's got I don't know why that's upside down. What's going on here? Oh, there you go. Yeah, so the keeper is a wire underneath that sticks into the plastic and hooks onto.
Oh, so it keeps it from sliding down, huh?
Yeah, to keep it. That's kind of cool.
Didn't you have?
They're.
I thought you did a video one time where you had a keeper like that or similar to that would hold it.
Mine was. It was similar. This was all-terrain. I think the one you're talking about is all-terrain tackle that used to be my favorite. And I don't ever hear anybody talk about these guys. Oops, not the skirts. I don't ever hear anybody talk about them. I don't know if they kind of fell off or what, but this used to be for sure my favorite swim jig, and this is the exact same deal of it. So on the all-terrain tackle swim jigs, it's got a rubber piece. You run the rubber piece up, it's got holes in it, and you run that over your hook, and it holds your plastic down on there.
That's what it was.
And yeah, it's the Grassmaster jig. Used to be my favorite. This one used to be my favorite swim jig. This is the one that I tell that story of. I was catching those white bass, those wipers at Palo, and I had one on, probably 1.5 pounds, was bringing it in. Oh, this isn't the, they've changed the head. These used to be pointy, and the hook the head used to go all the way out to the end of the hook.
I think they had a problem with their baits rolling over. People rigged them wrong, so they had to change the head design.
Oh, that sucks, man, because those things were hard as hell to get snagged and stuff. But anyway, the same concept on these. You can take that rubber thing, pull it down, and it really keeps your plastic from going up. Yeah, I caught a lot of fish on this, man. I caught the snot out of them on these. Really good in and around structure or grass and cover and stuff. But yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't thrown them much either lately. Newest and coolest. I've probably got some around here I can look, but yeah, they definitely had a pointier head. I don't know that I like that head design at all, to be honest.
DEBO'S like, oh, if I turn around here, I might run into 78 dozen of them.
Yeah, it was like this, but it ran like all the way out to the end of it, which I thought was kind of neat, protected in there. But okay, anyway, what else we got? What else we got for questions? I am ignoring chat, folks. I am sorry. I have been all sorts of directions tonight on IRS about to knock my door down. No, I'm kidding. I paid my taxes. Thank goodness. What do we got here? Kraken looks like it should be called. I'm glad I pre-read that before. Hey, I'm going frogs giveaway next Freedom Squad Friday. All right, make sure y'all go follow Gramps. Give him a watch. Next Freedom Squad Friday, he's giving away, doing a frog giveaway for hitting his goal of catching it. Let's see what else we got here. How about you? You got any questions for us, Dustin? How about you hit us with a this or that or a question? Anything you see in chat?
I ain't even watching the chat.
Punch Dizzle or kick him in the water, you say? Either one.
No. Dizzle, if you couldn't throw a jig, would you be able to fish?
Oh, yeah. I'd throw like a free rig or Texas rig or no, I mean, it surprisingly, I mean, I do like throwing, I like throwing spinnerbaits, chatterbaits. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or not, but I did just post a picture. Debo basically forced me to go out fishing. I was planning on probably going out anyway.
You were not. There is no chance.
I had thought about it. I'd mulled it around in my head. Anyway, so I go out. No. I catch one little tiny dink on an underspin with jackal paddle tail. I think it was on there. Maybe no, it was a chatterbait with a jacker. Anyway. So I'm like, this is starting to suck. It's getting a little cold. The sun's about down. I wasn't out that long. Make one more cast towards some wood. I found some wood, so I threw to wood. And I was like, threw it over, started reeling it, and I was like, oh, great. Snagged on the wood. And then I was like, that's not a snag, that's a fish. And then I realized it was probably a foul hooked fish, or like maybe I hooked a carp in its tail or something like that. Because it wasn't jumping, it wasn't doing anything. It was just kind of pulling and dragging. Next thing I know, it just kind of comes up to the surface. Another 4-pounder. I guess I'm nothing but 4s this year. I don't count the little ones that I caught in between the 4s, but still nothing but 4s.
Oh, ruin my average, he says. Ruin my 4-pound average.
That one did.
Last week was the first weekend I haven't caught a 5-pounder this year.
That you haven't?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. We need to get out on the boat. We'll try to set that up this year to get out on the boat with you. That would be fun as hell.
I caught a 6 in the National at Lake of the Ozarks. And then I've caught 3, 4 over 5 at my local lake.
Eesh.
And then I went down to the tournament last weekend and I could not catch a big fish for the life of me. Our tournament was 2 unders, 2 between 12 and 14, and 2 over 16, and I caught 6 unders and 4 overs, and I cannot break 3 pounds.
Dude, that's the thing about fishing is it will humble your butt real quick. You can go out and be like, dude, I know exactly where these fish are at, and you can almost call your shots. You're fishing so good, and then you can go out and think, dude, I've got it figured out today. Skunk on them. It's an interesting sport.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, this is something when I posted that last picture, it's like somebody commented, I responded. It's, you know, DEBO'S like gone out and killed me on numbers, but then I'll catch an almost 4 or something like that. This night, I think I've never had.
Don't brag about catching bigger fish.
I'm
don't try to rub my nose in the
to
whole
your statement.
Thing.
I'll slap
he kind
of
beat me because he caught numbers, so we'll give him a little bit of.
I'm gonna slap your face the next time I see you.
I love you, Randy.
Oh, hey, Debo, I do have a surprise. You're not going to be able to get back to it now because it was a long time ago in the comments. But something fun's coming along the ways here in sometime.
I'm trying to go through. I'm trying to read through chat. So y'all kill me in chat. There's so much stuff here, and then I have to stop and giggle.
That one right there is real easy to answer for me. It's black, brown, amber.
See, dude, I never throw browns or ambers. Like, I just don't have the confidence in them. I'd rather throw a
black,
green
brown,
pumpkin.
amber.
Yep. It's something about the mix of those three colors together. Everywhere I've went and thrown it, if it's not completely muddy, it slays.
Is that
it's a pretty crawfish color too. Like those ambery, like that's a very crawfish looking color. You know, that rusty brown, amber. And I just don't.
Is that like a 33, 33, 33 split? Or is there one color more than the other? Or
it's predominantly black and amber with a little brown. And depending on what version of it Strike King made back in the day, it would have a couple strands of orange in it.
Okay.
But they have changed their skirt colors so much over the years that I just quit. I had Angler Acid start making his version of it for me.
That's the cool
predominantly the brown is in the head. Like this one I got right now that I use has got a black head in it. It really don't have the brown. But it's got a lot of black, a lot of amber, and a lot of green in the amber. But finding the right amber has been the hardest part.
Yeah, because you don't want it overpowering, I wouldn't think.
Yes. But this right here with the green pumpkin super chunk on it. I mean,
so people are saying, y'all go check out real quick. I will say, Gabe, I haven't seen him in here. Usually hops in towards the end. Gabe, 10 Horse Monty, go check out his. Apparently he did a live on that frog.
Yeah, that's where I found that frog at, was watching him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I watched,
said it was on Gabe's channel, and I didn't know what he was talking about, but that's what he was talking about, was that frog.
Yeah, those Ozark guys are big on those crocodiler baits. And so when I was doing all my research for the national championship, that's how I found a lot of was the crocodiler stuff through him.
Was there still the big group of guys throwing the warts down there, or no?
A lot of people were talking about the rock crawler, but I had custom painted warts. I got for all you painters and stuff out there, a guy by the name of Phil Gerard, he owns Get Bit Custom Painted Baits. He actually is an importer of blanks. And so if you need blanks to paint or anything like that, you can contact him, and sometimes he's got stuff that other people in the country don't have.
That's pretty cool. That's a big thing of like the weird part. If you think you'd just be able to buy a blank and everybody would have the same stuff, but like different companies, I guess, or different places, like there's definitely different quality blanks that you can get to paint. Let's see. How about this? This was a good one from Awesome Aussie Cat. Frog hooks or EWG on a buzz toad. So I think what he's saying is like the frog hooks, or like the dual ones, I guess is what he's saying. The dual ones versus EWG. I am fulling through frog hooks when I throw those. I honestly like the culprit frog. That one's actually nice, that Incredible frog, because that was one I think somebody also shared for me for tactical bassin. Or no, was it? Oh, it was they shared the video of him getting those crushed in where's he at, Alabama or Georgia? He's the frog guy. He's got a YouTube channel that's something frogs. Bam, is it Bama Bassin? I think is his name. He was big on frogs. You remember him?
Oh, he did
right? I think that was his name. Now he's doing like a series of like he's building his own pond. He's got like a cabin and building his pond, which is actually cool as hell. I got on that one night, and watched like 6 of those videos in a row. It's just him and his wife, and I think he's got like a daughter.
What, they didn't have any new like MSR shoe washing videos or whatever for you to watch?
Hey, you don't get to make fun of me on here. You be nice. Yeah, my guilty pleasure is watching dudes. Angelo Shoeshine, check him out. I've never talked to the guy, but I fall asleep to his videos every night. But anyway, I think that's his name, Bama Bassin, if I remember right. He was showing, somebody sent me the video of that, and then I went down the whole rabbit hole of, I had never heard of him at the time. But he's got like a huge channel, millions of followers. But that's where I first saw it. I don't know where I was going with that story, but there's the background to it. I don't know.
You got distracted by shoe washing AMSR video. ASMR
yeah, now I've already been yawning. Now I'm thinking, gosh, I wonder what Angelo's got to shine tonight. Sometimes he takes a knife and scrapes the leather off of it. Oh, dude, I'm just like that, or Bob Ross. Listening to Bob Ross at night paint, where he's like,
that little knife thing
scratching on the canvas. Yeah, dude, it's like
the chisel.
Oh, put me out. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah,
So
I
we got
started
a
throwing
frog
those
hook.
jungle white gaps on a frog instead of a frog hook or the double hook.
Okay, I haven't played with those enough. I think I got a couple because they have that longer neck, which I think is kind of interesting to get that down. I mean, it could be whether you're using a bigger worm and want to push your hook down, a little farther, or just get it a little bit farther from the tip where it's usually going to rip out, because a lot of those EWGs are maybe 3/16 of an inch is all. That's what's ripping the head of your plastic out.
Yeah, that's what people have a problem with the tube, is that neck is too short, and then they get it up over the knot, and then the head's too big, it falls right down. But the jungle white gap to me might be a little too much hook for a worm because of how thick the gauge of the hook is.
Well, I think that's going to depend on the setup that you're throwing on. If you have a heavy enough combo to drive it, especially if you're flipping around heavy stuff, or braid, that'd be another thing too. You could go braid where there's no stretch to compensate for that, as far as like penetration and stuff. Oh, he's got one. My man, he likes the show and tell.
No, but this is the 4/0. This is the Snack Daddy Elite tube. That's almost too much. But if you only get about that much in the bite, it locks in. You're still not over the hook.
Because you're saying with those smaller ones where it's not as much of a gap there to bend it, they're Texas rigging it through and busting that nose out.
Right.
Gotcha.
And now, like I said earlier, you could take, just hope this don't backfire on me. But I mean, you can see the nose of the tube is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't edit this out, so
we'll be all right.
Magic here. While you're doing that, what size do you normally throw for weight on that, like in the river?
I mean, there's no nose left in that hook, in that tube.
That's pretty cool. What size weight do you normally throw in the river?
Depends on how deep you're trying to get, but I'm normally a 1/4 ounce or smaller. My rule of thumb on weight is the cleaner the water, the deeper the water, the heavier the weight you're going to run. The shallower the water, the softer the bottom, the lighter the weight you need to run.
Yep. Or where that bite's coming. If it's always coming on the fall, lighten up a little bit.
Like on the river, if you throw too heavy, your bait disappears in the silt.
Right. Or you're getting snagged on everything known to earth that you can't see under there.
Yep.
There was another question. I don't know why. StreamYard needs to fix that. Maybe it's my jank computer. I need to get a new name of it. Or I was reading this as a Grassmaster was my nickname in high school. I need to get a new computer, but I don't know why it does it. I start scrolling and it just jumps. That is annoying as hell.
Yeah, I don't know why
there was a good question about. Oh, I did see. Yeah, Gramps caught some on the Hellraiser. Have you used the Hellraiser at all, Dustin?
No, they actually have them at. They have them at my local Farm King store, and it's no tax weekend. I might go get a couple tomorrow.
I'm not mad at that. Do you have any weird lures that you feel like aren't as mainstream that you tend to catch them on? I guess those plastics, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that Kraken, most people don't have it. Like I said, it's pretty tough to throw, but if you get bit on it, it's a fun time. That's probably the weirdest bait that I own.
How about a bucket list lake? Do you have a bucket list lake that you haven't fished? You want to?
I'd probably love to go to Fork.
That's always been, I don't know why, but that's always been like my destination lake. And I'm not huge on traveling. I don't really well, I shouldn't say I don't really I can't really drive any more than an hour because I fall asleep at the wheel. So I have to take lots and lots and lots of breaks when I drive places. But yeah, that's one that's always been on my list. I don't know why. Let's see. Let's get holy crap. We're at 1:30. Oh my God. I thought we were just coming up on the hour mark. Well, dude, if you need to jump out at any time, feel free to jump out. Good. I did not realize we were here. We're going to answer. I'm going to have you answer this one. And then Dizzle, I know yours has kind of changed too. So this is going to be one for all of us. What is, and no, we don't get a pick. And mine's not going to be frog because that's my all-time favorite. But there has been one that's kind of come back into Oh, talking about Google Assistant, I hit a wrong button here. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go and answer this. I'm gonna bring up our giveaway here. I did not realize we were that long into this. I am so sorry.
I mean, if
Okay.
if it can't be a frog, it's going to be a buzzbait.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Dizzle, how about you?
You know, honestly, I liked in the past, I used to like really want to catch fish on like a popper or something like that, but I could never, it never hit it right. And I just never got to the point where it was successful and it was something that would make sense. Whopper Plopper is another good one, but I feel like I really want to get into like a, what was it? The KVD Sexy Dog?
That was going to be mine. That's one
like
that's made a resurgence for me. Yeah. A walking bait.
it's just like the cadence of it and getting, you know, the whole thing going is just, I don't know, there's something about it. Like for me, that's something that helps me like concentrate on actually fishing and making sure I'm doing what I should be doing. Cause I do tend to like, not that I space off when I'm out fishing, but it's like, I'll be, oh, squirrel kind of like thing and not pay attention to what I'm actually doing, you know?
Yeah, it's one that I mean, so okay, so for everybody watching still got 280 beautiful people watching. I appreciate y'all. Hashtag purple tonight for the giveaway, and I will even throw in a cool purple bait tonight, or plastic something. I'll make sure to include something in. But that is the giveaway tonight. It'll be around $50 worth of baits. As I've been cleaning out, I was debating, should I do a video on cleaning this crap or not? Would that be interesting? Should I do that? A video of cleaning up and organizing? I don't know. Maybe I will. But I'll definitely throw up a purple lure in there for you. So topwater. I'll bring this back up here in a second. Topwater is one, I grew up throwing the Spook Junior Zara Spook puppy with Dad. If it wasn't a Pop R, Rebel Pop R, it was a Spook that I was throwing. And that was like, those were my two topwaters that I threw. I didn't like throwing buzz baits. I was never good at them. I felt like Dad would throw a buzz bait. Especially if it was rain. Dad would say black buzz bait in the rain. If you're not throwing it, slap me in the back of the head. And I couldn't catch him on it. Like
Child abuse.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't go announcing that,
Yeah. Oh, he didn't care. He'd drop elbows on me and everything. But that's one that, gosh, it's been once I started fishing again back in, I want to say like 2014 or whatever, when I got back into it. The KVD Sexy Dog, it seemed like year after year, that was one I was consistently catching them on. And there was kind of that lull, you go back and forth into stuff. I was heavy on buzz baits and the Whopper Plopper. That's been years ago where, dude, I swear anywhere we could go, like it was just Whopper Plopper, pike destruction.
It didn't matter what time of the day either. It was like,
dude,
all
it
day
didn't
long.
matter. Pike were crushing them. And I will take pike topwater. But Dustin, what are your thoughts on pike? Are you a pike guy or no? As a tournament angler, I'm guessing it's going to be a big no, but
it's an absolute big no.
What do you call them when you catch them?
You don't want to hear that.
Snot rocket. Oh, okay. I know a lot of people call them they hate catching the old snot rocket.
The old slimy
slime rocket. Yeah.
Dude, I lost a WEC balsa to one a couple of years ago, and that was not a good day.
One day, Debo, we lost probably $30 worth of lures in a matter of like
I think I had the counter going. It was like 50 some bucks of pike taking our lures
real quick too.
Yeah, that balsa bait would probably sell for $50.
Yeah, I could definitely see, especially as a tournament guy trying to make money or trying to catch fish that way. I could definitely see the despise for pike.
What's worse than those are the dogfish or the bowfin or the griddle or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I don't get to catch them much. I hear that you can get on really good bites with those on frogs. Is that right?
Oh, they'll bite anything that comes in front of their face.
Dude, I am not. I think I've only caught like 3 in my whole life, but I've seen, and they were like small ones. But I've seen people catching like big ones, getting on like big, good frog bites. And that's something for me is I would love to go south and get on like a crazy snakehead frog bite. I think
I don't know how far you'd have to go. You probably got to go east to get on that snakehead bite. But if you come fishing me on the river, you're probably going to battle a pike, and you're probably going to run into a dogfish or two.
Oh yeah, I love the pike. They're always welcome for me as long as they don't steal my stuff. But
hey, they taste good.
Let's see. Dude, they are like what do they call them? Freshwater. They call them freshwater shrimp or something. It tastes like. I think I've
I don't
only
know,
ate
but
it a
it's
couple
good.
times because they're pain in the butt to clean. Yeah, they are. They are very good tasting. Because there's the weird way you have to clean them for like the Y bone. I watched a video on it because in case we ever go out and catch some dizzle, but there's like you have to clean like they cut them into sections and you clean outside of that Y bone and take like you can get like 5 pieces off them. You know, you do the back and then the two. I've never cleaned one. Dad has. Let's see.
Only clean
Let's see.
catfish.
We will get to the giveaway here. If you're just now jumping in, hashtag purple. If you want to be entered in, it'll be like $50 worth of baits, and I will include something purple because it catches the fish. I'm zipping through the comments here. There was another good one about what Mike Christian said. What's your favorite Guggen bait to throw in the trash?
Yeah, I don't own any.
Dizzle's sponsored by him, so he's always trying to give me free Guggen baits and stuff. And I like some of them. I like the trench hog.
You do like the trench hog, don't you?
I do.
Put some little extra cockshoes out there and catches them all
Dizzle,
day long.
Come on, this is.
I did that for Gramps.
Let's see, this or that, buzzbait or plopper chopo? That's a really good question. I've kind of gone back and forth on these, and I will tell you my difference. There's one thing that dictates when I'm throwing one over the other.
I like to listen to a buzzbait sing a lot better, and I like the other two, so I take a buzzbait.
I like the sound of a plopper over a chopo. But I would agree with the buzzbait.
Slightly different sound. That hard plastic tail does have a slightly different sound on the chopo.
I would say that the buzzbait sounds better overall, though.
I will say that I like the hookup ratio and the, just swirl on it and catching them on a chopo plopper. But man, once you start getting any grass like around here or pads or anything, you can still fish a buzzbait in and through all that. So I usually fish I don't fish a skirted buzzbait as much anymore, but like a buzzbait with a horny toad or like that other toad we were looking at, something like that on the back is my kind of go-to, a plastic on the back as opposed to a skirted as much anymore.
Before they ever put swim baits or they ever put buzz frogs or anything like that on buzzbaits,
ribbon tail worm.
Yeah, my mom was actually taking split tail spinnerbait trailers and putting them on them to throw a buzzbait against the wind back in the 1980s.
This guy.
So how cool is this? This made me think of that. I know guys used to do that. This was a subscriber, and gosh, I forget who it was. I am so sorry. But that's what he had been catching them on. He's like, I wanted to share this with you. It's something a little different. It's a small company that makes these down by, I forget where he was at, but it's a little dual buzzbait thing. And then on the back is these little V trailers. And he said, these catch hybrids, crappie. So it's really cool that you say that. And this is one of the full size. I don't know who makes this. If it's I don't know, kind of looks trench hoggish. Yum, maybe. I don't know.
That almost looks like a Bass Pro Shops Cajun trailer.
That could be.
Reminded me of an old school Z-Man trailer that used to come with the chatterbaits.
No, those were like the old round ones that came with the Hank Barkers. But yeah, it's funny that you said that, dude. Yeah, or like a ribbon tail worm. I remember we used to throw on those, or I guess Dad used to throw. Those guys used to throw. I didn't catch crap on them then, but
when the chatterbait first came out, the ones I was able to find was the Gambler Swim Blade, and I lit them up on it. And I called Gambler to buy more, and they had to discontinue them. And they said, what did I throw for a trailer on it? And I told them that little twin tail it came with, and they all laughed at me because they were throwing that big easy on the back of a chatterbait way back in the day.
Oh, really?
But for $50, they sent me a bag of 50 chatterbaits, 50 skirts, and 50 different blades because they had to get rid of them.
Damn, dude, that's cool as hell. Let's see and I'm kind of trying to sift through the. Adam says, video on cleaning the mess. Yeah, I think it'd be funny to watch. Oh, I forgot I had that. Dude, there would be. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I said that today with Dad. And then we started getting down the rabbit hole. He was talking about, here's one. Actually, I was trying to think. He said it was a Rapala something with a long bill on it. They were catching the crap out of walleye. And I was like, is it a shad rap? He's like, no, it wasn't a shad rap. We're going to look at that real quick. We almost got 300 people still watching. Hashtag purple. You can see there that Randizzle is very intrigued by this giveaway, by the look on his face. Hashtag purple to be entered. I'm going to actually, we'll just draw here real quick before I go down the rabbit hole of what me and Dad were talking about. Okay, I am sharing. So this is last call. Hashtag purple. 183. Whoever was the 183, you might have got lucky. Boom. Okay, the whiteboard sponsored by Dizzle. As much as I give him crap, I love the guy, and he does sponsor our whiteboard here. Jim with the freaking sick picture too. Old school Ranger jersey on and a toad of a bass. Jim, are you here? Okay, so I didn't print off my legal disclaimer. Jim, if you're one of our Canadian brethren, I'm not sending you a box of stuff. It's too expensive. I'll send you a gift card or something. Must be present to win. What else? What was the other thing?
At us, so it's easier. Well, at me.
Oh,
Debo
yeah.
Doesn't watch these things that much.
At one of us, so you can see it.
Jim, he's here. He's here.
Boom.
He is here.
Okay, Jim, if you could send me an email to debosfishing@gmail.com with your address and a screenshot of your YouTube so I know it's you. I will hook you up, my friend. LELIECHTY $50 box plus perp lure.
Purple drink.
Purple drink. All right, Jim, congratulations, my friend. Do those things and send me the stuff and I'll hook you up here. So is that, oh, Rapala, we should see, well, I don't know that many people are going to care what that lure was, but anyway, yes, I did say, oh, I forgot I had that a number of times, and Dad actually started, I don't think he took his bag. No, I don't think he did. Dad started a bag. He's like, I'm going to start a bag and start taking some of this and use it. I'm
going to go
do whatever you want, Pops.
I'm coming down tomorrow and I'm shopping out a Papa DEBO'S bag.
I'm like, you, for as much as you've taught me and shown me over the years, you get anything. He's like, cool. So he started putting the box together.
You didn't go anything with that. You can't have that. Not that.
Well, no, I told him he actually took a rod and reel combo, and he's like, I'm going to start getting some baits. There's some of these things I want to try. I'm like, yeah, unless it's something I haven't done a video on. I'm like, you have free rain pops. You take whatever you want down here. Because he's very shy about that. He doesn't like to like borrow from me or any of that stuff, like take stuff. He always says he feels weird. I'm like, the hell do you feel weird for? I'm like, just take the shit, go. So I'm like, whatever you want. I'm like, the only reason I'll tell you no is if it's something I haven't done a video on or something, then you can't have it. But he's like, okay. But
so,
yeah, well,
I got a question for everybody in chat.
Okay.
What do you think the most important thing in tournament fishing is?
Oy.
Patrick, that was the exact reason I didn't want to go into this. He said, if memory serves right, last clean DEBO was DEBO showing us his cardboard boxes filled to the brim with various lures. And I essentially just put cardboard boxes of lures and things and called it. I've still got some of that. Y'all probably can't see it, but I've still got some of my
DEBO. How many boxes of just opened treble hook baits do you have?
Oh, I've got a lot of those. Everybody's got that. If you're an angler, you've always got this is
scary.
I broke my camera here. It's not
way
tight
to go.
anymore.
I like some of the answers as far as your attitude overall is I think a great answer. Adaptability, also another great answer. That's one of my bigger things is being able to get out of my own head and not be stubborn, because I could be stubborn from time to time and just kind of be stuck on the one thing that should be working. Why the hell isn't it working? I'm gonna keep throwing it until I make it work, kind of thing.
Oh, like you every time we go out and you're like, I'm gonna throw a jig
up.
Today. Like, geez, I never would have guessed that, Dizzle.
I'm gonna throw a frog whenever frog is frogging, Froggy.
Time management, that's a big one. What's yours?
Yeah. I had a guy tell me years and years ago the number one thing was time management. And I agree with that to an extent, but I think it's the ability to make small adjustments on the fly.
Your
Because
adaptability
rarely first thing, and rarely, I mean, sometimes it works out. And it's a lot easier to do on your home water or whatnot, but rarely does your day go completely as planned.
Sorry. Yeah, I realized that was probably if you have motion sickness. Sorry. I didn't plan. The camera's got a stupid little thing here and it wouldn't tighten. So it just kept. Jeez.
What would you say as far as like when you say like small adjustments, things like that? Are you literally talking like going from, I don't know, like a 4-inch lure down to a 2.5 inch, or what are your small adjustments? What would be like an example of that?
Well, so like I'll use last weekend for example. We were going to get hit with a big culprit. I mean, it was running 80 for a high Friday. It was 80 some degrees Saturday. I'd found some fish on beds, but you look at the forecast, the wind was going to switch out of a completely different direction. It was going to go from 80 to a high to waking up to 44 degrees. We had thunderstorms roll in the night before. The back of the pocket I was fishing in muddied up. I mean, I completely messed up a bed fish. I knew it was there, flipped over the log, and lost the fish because I didn't think it was going to bite. But so I started adjusting on Saturday. I started downsizing the trailers on the back of my swim jig. I went from a skinny dipper to a little dipper. I went from a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait down to a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait. I just made all those adjustments during pre-fish to see if they bite them, and I noticed that it wasn't quite going as good. I changed the color of my trailer on my jackhammer that I was throwing. That seemed to work a little bit. Well, then come tournament day, I went out there and I threw a different colored jackhammer. I threw different color baits, and the bites weren't coming. So I looked down, read the water, switched up my clear water trailer on my jackhammer, and then I went back to the bigger trailer on my swim jig, and the bites started coming back. And it's just a matter of, I went from a little dipper to a skinny dipper. It had to be the swing of the trailer is what they were more interested in than basically the size. Everything in a cold front tells you to downsize, but I went back up. I think certain times of the year the fish are on and they're on certain things and they're just going to get on it and around the spawn. I mean, we already had bass on beds. Right. And then the main lake cleaned up. The back pockets got absolutely filthy. I mean, you went from 2-foot visibility to nothing, but the main lake cleaned up. And so a lot of people were throwing white chartreuse. I throw a more natural colored chatterbait, but the trailer I had on it was like a green pumpkin and white. And I went to more of a green pumpkin, and that was the biggest difference in the world was get that white out of it because it just stuck out like a sore thumb.
And Debo, I know you're going to want to jump to that comment real quick, but Will Tracks 921 said using your instincts and not your electronics, I think kind of goes along with exactly what you were saying. You know, you kind of felt like doesn't matter if your electronic says that they're there, they're not going to want to bite something. If they don't want to bite something, you got to go with your gut.
I feel there's going to be a big transition for people with the forward-facing electronics and all that. I'm not relying. I mean, I'm not making plan or my tournament based off forward-facing sonar because I'm not good with it yet. But a lot of people will rely on that too much and start looking down at that and watching that and relying on that instead of their instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going back to what Dustin was saying. That's one thing that's really big for me is when I do have to adjust and change stuff. I am not very good at picking like what the order should be. Like, do I change? Let's say I'm flipping a jig just for ease, and I'm not getting bites, but Randy's flipping a jig and getting bites. Do I mess with the color? What if my color is close enough? Do I start messing with size? Do I switch completely and try a Ned Rig or something? Let's say we're throwing moving baits and Dizzle's crushed them on a chatterbait. I'm throwing a spinnerbait, can't bait, like I feel like I'm very bad at if I have something in my head and I think they should be doing this and he's throwing something close, I'm very bad at determining, is it color? Is it size? Is it like, do I switch lures? Like if I'm not getting bit, that's, I would say is a very big fault for me.
One of the biggest things is I get real stubborn about certain baits should work at certain times and certain colors go with certain colors. And
A jig should always work. There's no reason why you shouldn't throw it.
But a lot of it's experience, or you'll see a certain watercolor.
I'm on the water. Yep.
And I grew up, there's no shad in the lakes that I grew up in. And so I grew up throwing a lot of green pumpkin and all the natural colors and stuff like that. And so when I get on like a strip mine lake or something like that, I don't throw white. And people catch white and stuff on it all the time. Now, do I go to a lake that's got shad in it, then yeah, I'm throwing white. I mean, like I said, this bait right here is accounted for more 5 and 6 pound fish than any other bait that I've got as far as spinnerbaits or chatterbait wise goes. But that is in a shad based lake. I've got he's 85 now that I take fishing with me. His name is Big Bass Bob Sundell. And he caught, if you go to that Angler Assets deal on a Tackle Warehouse again, the bloody green shad. He likes a red blade on the spinnerbait in the spring, but that is a metallic red blade. It was chartreuse and white. In this lake, you can see 9 foot down in, and he caught a 9.2 on it.
Eesh.
Damn.
He was 82 years old at the time. It was the lake record. And when I found out what spinnerbait he was throwing, I was floored because that ain't a spinnerbait that I would ever dream to throw in that lake. And it's just a matter of have confidence, know what you're going to do, and go do it.
This one?
I mean, yeah, it's actually, that blade is not the glow blade that's all knees. It looks like the glow blade, but it's actually it's a metallic
like a
red.
Metallic.
Yes.
Or,
and it gives off a totally different. It gives off a totally different flash in the water. It actually flashes to where these glow. That one will glow.
That's like an opaque, like paint versus like an actual metallic.
That's like anodized, is what it is.
Yeah.
And that bait right there, Big Bass Bob is accounted for, I believe, the 2 biggest spinnerbait catches on any Angler Asset spinnerbait. He's got a 7.7 and a 9.2.
Sheesh.
And his 7.7 came on the pearl bait fish.
Sure, because I'm gonna start a cart here. Maybe we'll do. Should we do? Let's see. Oh, there.
Hey Debo, real quick, I just want to say, do you have your camera image on your computer screen right now on like a different area? Can you see anything that's like behind you as you're starting up a new cart?
I don't know why.
You got some lures back there, bub.
Oh yeah, but there's stuff I forgot about, so I'll have to give that away.
Time.
So I've never used these, so I'm a sucker for trying some new stuff. Now you just made me feel bad, Randy.
I was giving you a hard time.
All right, so let's go. David Rauschenbach, $10 bomb, my friend. Thank you. Said to help with shipping. Yes, shipping does. Thermal printer, for those of you out there waiting for that, take a drink. Shipping does kick me in the butt. It's a little bit more than I would think it would be, but well worth it. I appreciate y'all. I'm happy to do it. So
Gander Mountain.
I'll tell you what, Red Hot or Texas Pete's. I am not a huge like plethora of different hot sauces. The is the Red Hot? Yeah, the Red Hots is the one that they sell the buffalo
like Frank's Red Hot?
Buffalo wing.
Yep.
Yeah. They sell one that's called like buffalo wing or chicken wing or something flavor. Freaking love that one over the regular. Otherwise, my go-to is always Cholula. Like if I just have regular eggs and omelet or whatever, or that one right there with the wooden top. That's my go-to.
Don't ask me why I have a bottle of hot sauce. Debo's got lures. I got hot sauce and Mend It.
Did you ever get a hold of the Jack Link's Cholula beef jerky?
I have.
That is the best beef jerky ever made.
Yep.
And it's
the thing about Jack Link's I don't like
beef jerky is overrated.
Inconsistent.
Yes.
I'm saying it.
Debo, you shut your mouth.
I do like the little tenders though, like the Lynx tenders that are actual meat, not
Jack
just
Link's
like chewy cardboard.
There.
I really like those. I think they call.
I've been eating at Jack Link's bars, the hot and spicy or whatever it is, the mango, whatever those bars here lately.
I did get so I will say Awesome Aussie Cat was always saying you need 3 hot sauces: Louisiana, Mexican hot sauce, and Asian hot. I do agree with that. I do like sriracha on my any like egg roll type. It just kind of fits that that bean paste, that red bean paste type of, what do they call it? Gochujang, I think it's called.
No idea what you just said,
Freaking
but
love
okay.
that stuff. It's like a red bean paste we use. We actually had, my wife worked with one of our best friends before they moved, couple. She was from South Korea, and dude, she would do authentic cooking, and it was, her Korean barbecue that she made was freaking amazing. But I was going to say, I ordered from some company. Somebody shared it with, I think it was Arthur. I haven't seen Arthur in here. But he shared this website with me where he was getting his, and I got some different hot sauces, and that's the
some
first
of that
time I've ever
underground
tried
hot
different
sauce.
stuff. So yeah. It was Dustin Diamond Poirier, the MMA fighter. They have like a sponsored hot sauce with him. I got there was a Louisiana one, and then some other one, Creole something, I think. I don't remember.
I tell you what, there's Frank's Red Hot. I don't like the just regular Red Hot. That's just me. I'm not a huge overly vinegar fan, but they do have a sweet chili hot sauce. That stuff is amazing. Yeah,
I like that chicken wing one, whatever the one is they have. Okay, well, we're at almost 2 hours. Dustin, what you got? We're gonna grab a couple more questions here. So if y'all have a question that Dustin has not answered, or any of us have not answered, give us your this or that's. Give us a good question. We'll each pick one, and we're getting out of here. We're going on 2 hours.
If you're into authentic Korean food, we have an authentic Korean restaurant here in town. It is by far my favorite we got here. The kimchi, the bulgogi. God, it's fantastic.
Dude. Man,
kimchi is kimchi on a burger. I'd never had it until she made her own kimchi. Dude, insane on a burger, dude. It tastes so good.
Yeah, they make everything in house, and it is fantastic.
The DEBO cooking show. Yeah, I actually love to cook. I'm a huge cooker, griller. I hate baking or anything where you have to like get exact measurements. So, okay, so get us your questions in here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pick this one for mine. Go to chatterbait trailer. What y'all got? If we're all going out tomorrow fishing, what is your go-to chatterbait trailer these days that you're putting on?
Zacho.
Oh, yeah. I like a Zacho.
The original Zacho or the new paddle tail ones?
Oh, I go original.
It's a good one.
Honestly, I've had a lot of decent luck with a Trench Hog Junior. The body of it cut down a little bit, the extra arms taken off of there, and running it sideways so the legs are
basically a spunk shed is what you like to run, right?
I don't have any of those. Leave me alone.
Oh, Dizzle, I love you.
Be there in 48 minutes, Depot.
A trench hog, the mini ones, right? The smaller ones.
Yeah, the juniors.
That was a cool look to it. I did like that one. I would say some sort of flat. I've been going more to, I used to go with a dipper, some sort of paddle tail that's not like huge and overpowering, like a little dipper for a good like compact look. But I've been going more with like a fluke, like more natural, skinny, not the spunk shad. I do have some, but I think I've only thrown it once, but like a very almost more finesse kind of type look. That's why I think people give the stealth blade a bunch of hate, but it's definitely a different finessed down version of it. So I want to play with that one more. Let's see. Zacho, number of people saying, yep, Zacho.
I got a couple little chatterbait hacks for you. So everybody wants to throw that fire crawl. Everybody wants to throw that bright red chatterbait in the spring.
Yeah.
I have found that if you buy that Heights hot crawl, which is the green pumpkin with a little bit of red, and instead of the kamikaze swim on, they've got one, and it's bright red and orange. Get the green, it's called flamethrower, but the green pumpkin flamethrower, that mutes it out enough to where you can throw it in clean water or you can throw it in dirty water, and it will catch biggins.
The exact ones, but this is kind of what you're talking about. So instead of going with that overbearing fire crawl, orange and red, going something like this, these are the cross eyes. This one they call chili dog, but kind of that down. You can't really tell, but it's like a green pumpkin, brownish with that red.
Yep.
I mean, you can see the difference there, right?
Yeah, I've still yet to see a red crawdad swimming around any of the lakes around here that we got, but
We don't. Yeah, that's what I talk about every time. We don't have those big Texas, huge red craws that get. Ours are that greenish, bluish on bottom, or the rusty craws, which have that like kind of tealish. That's what I was trying to kind of do with some of these. That's not the one, but
Debo, the trailer I'm digging on right now is the Rhythm Wave it's Jackal. And the thing about it is it's not round. The top is flat.
Do I have some of those? I think I bought some of those.
I dig on them.
Let's look. I think I bought some of those back when I bought that free rig bait that I got you from Jackal. I forget what those were called. But I immediately thought of you when I saw those. This one?
Is that it right there? I think that's it right there, yeah.
This is not the one I've been throwing. So this is a paddle tail. Yeah, but again, it's that same concept, that thin paddle tail, not overbearing, not a huge paddle.
You see how go back to that middle picture? The middle one? Yeah, you see how it's kind of flat on the top right there?
Huh, yep.
Something about it, I like it. I don't know.
Huh, yeah, those are cool. I've never thrown these or seen these. I'm not a huge, I like that goby color. I'm not a huge, Jackal and some of these other ones where they're kind of, more that JDM / coming over here. I have used a couple of the frogs. They have a fluke. This one, is it the eye shed? No, this. Rhythm Wag is the ones I bought thinking these would be a good chatterbait trailer. It's like your fluke, but the problem with the fluke is if you bite that nose off to make it a little bit shorter, you get into the part where it's split in the belly, for your hook slot. And this one is all solid.
You almost start to miss it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's there's no bite in the front of it. And these have kind of a little fork tail on it. I bought some of these at the end of last year after season was over, but I got some, there was one that looked like, this one, the goby. That's why I said I like that one. Kind of like that shiner color that tends to work around here.
Tell you what,
I got a couple.
I like their chatterbaits. What is it? The firecracker or something?
Oh, the buzzbait,
buzzbaits.
Jackal, is it firecracker?
I think it's firecracker.
Yeah, that's one of the truest running. Well, how about you, Dustin? What's your go-to buzzbait?
Really, I'm a big fan of the old school lunker lure.
Yeah, firecracker. Yeah, I've still yet to find a buzzbait that I'm 100% set on. I'll use a war eagle. I'll use, gosh, I don't even know this. As far as just being a regular skirted buzzbait, man, this thing runs 100% true for the two that I've tested. I only bought a white one and a.
Yeah, I would say if those were a little bit easier to come across for me anyway, that would probably be my go-to chatterbait, hands down.
And loud,
just because
with that clacker on there. For dirty water, they're loud. Okay, well, we are past 2 hours. I'm going to give closing. Dustin, do you want any? Do you share your socials or what anything for people to find you?
I believe it's DTaylor3T on Instagram. If you guys need a code for Swagger Tungsten, hit me up there. I forgot what it was, so it changed this year, so it's completely different than what it's been in the years in the past. So get 15% off Swagger Tungsten if you message me on. I think it's at DTaylor3T on Instagram. We can get you that.
Thank you, sir.
The other thing is if you guys throw a spunk shad, put it on the back of an angler acid spinnerbait, burn the spinnerbait, stop it, point the rod tip at it, and see if that spinnerbait don't do a 180.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah, you can almost make it turn completely around with a spunk shad on the back.
Yeah, that is a good spinnerbait. That fluke type straight tail for a spinnerbait trailer. There was one more question I think I had. I've got all my. Okay, well, we're past time. There was another one that I saw flipping here. But listen, everyone, love y'all. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to Dustin. Dustin, for joining us. Of course, the Dizzle. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank y'all. Yes, absolutely, my man. Thank y'all for watching. And again, until next Saturday.